What really worries me today is what's going to happen to us if machines can think. Well, now, seriously, Professor, do you think that one day machines will really be able to think?
Where my doubt comes in is whether we shall be able to produce machine programs that are capable of creative thinking. I rather doubt whether it's going to be possible to do this in our lifetime.
Recent advances in artificial intelligence.
Programs that generate art using AI are widely available to the public.
Just by typing in a few keywords,
it's creating art.
Which is unnerving because those are things that we've traditionally considered human.
It introduces new opportunities.
Something very wrong occurred.
I see it as a net positive.
Reflective of the bad parts of society.
For decades, I've been interested in trying to find a way to capture and convey as fully as I possibly could the experiences that I was having in special places. And to do so in a way that moves people, not just visually, but also viscerally and cognitively. Using traditional photography, I often found I came up short. About 7 years ago, I discovered this software that Google released called Deep Dream. Deep Dream is part of an image recognition artificial intelligence that's trying to make sense of what it's seeing. It essentially pushes the pixels in the direction towards the types of images it was trained to recognize. And in the process of doing that, it creates patterns. I'm continually surprised by where it ends up going with the interpretation. I absolutely believe AI is the next logical step in the development of art. Part of the controversy around AI-generated art is, again, the fear that people have of losing their livelihoods. The representational landscape painters of the early 1800s were pretty taken aback when photography came along. There are accounts of some of the artists saying, "Oh, my livelihood is over." But we know this is not what happened. Great landscape painters persisted and evolved. Movements like Impressionism came along, which are much loved, partly in reaction to the realism of photography. I think this is just a great analog for how this initial disruption could change things for some folks, but it introduces new opportunities for other folks, and I think, in general, moves the ball forward.
If you move the ball forward and right in front of you there's a cliff and the ball falls through the cliff, is that really progress?
Technology has always been a part of art for centuries and is an additive process, not subtractive.
The camera, Photoshop, 3D, no new technological tool up to this point has utilized the combined work of every other artist. There's nothing that has ever come along that's like that. As a concept artist, we always have to be up to date with technology. I remember August and September of 2022, and that's when Midjourney explodes. That's when Stable Diffusion explodes. And I was horrified to find out that these models were trained upon the work of basically every artist I know. Users are generating imagery that feels like our work, but wasn't really. And that's when we knew that something horribly wrong had happened. In terms of how AI media generators were trained, they just grabbed imagery from all over the internet. This was done without anyone's consent, without any credit, without any compensation. They said, hey, we're going to take this and potentially we're going to compete in your markets with amazing imagery that is only amazing because your work is there. You're using my reputation. You're using my hard work. You're using everything I worked for. And so for me, this feels more like identity theft than anything else. We talk a lot about copyright, but for me, it goes deeper than that. The moment an idea pops up into my head, from when I'm doodling, that idea, I'll start sketching a little bit further to when I'm starting to paint, and every brushstroke is a thought. I love every step of it. When it comes to AI imagery, all those decisions were done by a machine who is neither feeling nor caring, who has had no life experiences, but has taken the life experiences of others. My art is a part of me. It takes a lot of time to train your hand to be able to move in the way that you want it to. Some areas will require a big, long brushstroke. Other areas will require a very delicate, intricate little brushstroke.
The issue with my hand, which is the most limiting one, it just gets worse over time.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful process.
It can be really scary. I first started having trouble with muscle, coordination and nerve issues, actually when I was still a teenager. At the time, I attributed it to the many hours a day I was practicing cello and didn't really think about it. When I was about 19 or 20 years old, that was when I decided to start pursuing work as a photographer. But I had another episode and nerve damage in my right hand got really bad. There's damage to a part of my genes that is associated with degenerative neurological disease that can take a lot of different forms. Last year was really, really hard. The tests that I had to do were pretty invasive, really scary. As an artist, I'm always searching for ways to express myself. And obviously when you're going through a difficult time, that's truer than ever. But I can't really do it anymore. I can't hold a pencil and draw for very long. And then AI comes along and all of a sudden I have this ability to create in a way that I thought I had lost. I went out to Joshua Tree, sat in the desert and started inputting photos of myself into AI, giving it prompts from my journal. I was given back this image of me that was very regal, beautiful, and that was unexpected. There was something about this process, again, this removal of the physical barrier between my thoughts and physical reality that felt divine. Some work from Divine Recursions was in the first AI dedicated show in San Francisco, and the reception to that show was also pretty divisive. AI can seem like it's so big that it could take over the world and it could take over people's jobs. But in reality, it's just a mirror showing us what we have done.
AI, unfortunately, is trained on data sets that are based on our society. And so with society comes bias.
You are going to potentially come across some negative things.
One of the things that I came across was putting in something as simple as black superhero. And what came back was a very monkey-looking, distorted person. Each of the visuals were with black men with their shirts off. There are things within that data set that we know aren't perfect. For instance, with stock sites that I have to use, there isn't enough that is focused towards black skin, black people, the black experience. You don't have the images that allow you to showcase what these things are for black people. But with AI, thankfully, I can get around these gaps. The most viral one I had was Bashinga, the first Black Panther. Ever since then, it's been bad because I'm addicted to it. Cubism was actually started with African people. The Cubist painters, they studied them, but then the credit was not there for them. So I wanted to bring that credit back and put African people, African things inside of a Cubist painting. With AI, we're getting into the age of the idea. You can essentially create everything that has lived in your head. And with that, AI has opened up the door to a lot of people that before haven't been able to do these things. There has to be some type of ethical relationship between people that are inside these data sets and the people creating these AIs. But to me, whatever I see in my head as far as our experience, I'm able to finally have it come to life. And that's been just categorically life-changing.